King Kong is one of those iconic properties that has stood the test of time. Everyone knows Dracula, the Frankenstein monster, and everyone knows who King Kong is. It was inevitable that yet another remake would be coming along. But I'm pleasantly surprised that while previous remakes have used the original film as a blueprint, Skull Island actually takes a very different route, and it does fairly well for itself. Taking place right at the end of the Vietnam War, 1973, two government agents seek passage and assistance to reach the fabled Skull Island and discover its secrets, making up a crew of soldiers escorting scientists, a photojournalist, and an animal tracker to help explore and document the island. Of course, once they arrive, Kong shows up to swat their helicopters like flies. No surprise there, it's pretty much the front and center scene for every trailer of the movie. After the battle, most of the crew become separated and have to rejoin each other while struggling to survive the island's harsh environment. The acting is alright. I expected more out of John Goodman. He's supposed to portray a scientist who hunts down giant monsters, but he neither has a childlike fascination of the world, nor does he come off as a mad scientist. He just seems tired in this movie, which is probably appropriate for a character who never seems to get anywhere in his research because he's constantly told that he's crazy.
You know, in terms of sheer waste, Monarch ranks right up there with the search for alien life.
Yeah, but those guys are nuts.
But it doesn't make him very exciting, which is bad since he's one of the main characters. The story throws in a tragic backstory about Goodman's character halfway through the movie, but it feels like an attempt to deepen a shallow character. He has a few great scenes, but I know he's capable of more.
Men go to war in search of something, Mr. Conrad. If you'd found it, you'd be home by now.
Samuel L. Jackson, as usual, plays the over-the-top badass and he manages to pull it off just fine. His character is a colonel who can't let go of the war effort and sees the scientific expedition to Skull Island as an opportunity to remain useful or perhaps earn yet another medal.
Packard, General Ward, you and your boys up for one last stop?
I would not be opposed to that, sir.
Yeah, your orders to head home are already processed. Sure you don't want to take some time?
I'm here to execute whatever orders I'm given, sir.
Yeah, don't get too excited.
John C. Reilly is definitely the oddball choice for this film, but he also turned out to be one of the better actors and characters. After crash landing on the island nearly 30 years ago, he has learned how to survive the harsh environments, befriended the natives, and has become knowledgeable of the indigenous creatures.
And what are they called?
The Iwis won't speak their name, but I call them skull crawlers.
Why?
Because it sounds neat.
Okay.
Look, I just made that name up. I'm trying to scare you.
I'm fine calling them that. Are you cool with it?
Yeah, that seems like
I
that
like
seems
the
like
name,
a
so
great
I
name.
think you...
Never said that name out loud before. It sounds stupid now that I say. Just, you call them whatever you want. The big lizard things. Nasty.
He is partly comedic relief, but mostly an exposition dump, which is a problem that this film keeps running into. The moments where fewer words are spoken and a character's emotions have the opportunity to breathe are beautiful.
Grace and Billy all moved in Atlanta, just waiting on me. What about you, sir?
All this for what?
Sir?
Get out of here, Chapman. Go have some fun.
Is everything okay?
Tip-top.
And then there are scenes where characters trade one-liners and express themselves efficiently, so that the audience quickly and easily gets an impression of them.
Can I help you? 2 years in country. Where you been?
Embedded with Makvisak.
Ah, you in the shit. I respect that. It's people like you lost us support back home.
You're not actually gonna blame the people without guns for losing the war, are you?
Camera's way more dangerous than a gun. And we didn't lose the war. We abandoned it.
Right.
These moments are excellent. but then it drops the ball and falls back on straight up explanations when it's not sure how else to present the story. The pros definitely outweigh the cons here, but it's unfortunate just how much of the movie is spent on plot details when, other times, it proves itself as being better than that. The rest of the cast are basically generic heroes or red shirts whenever the movie needs someone to die.
There is no way I'm getting on that helicopter.
Skull Island has a lot of characters to juggle, and although it attempts to give fair screen time to everyone, I feel as though this could have been a stronger film if it trimmed down the fat and focused on a select few characters. The computer graphics are absolutely incredible. The way Kong's fur rustles, or when he accidentally injures himself after grabbing a helicopter, nothing necessarily looks fake. You get a couple of awkward moments here and there, like when Kong causes ripples in the water with his finger. It doesn't look as good. But the film is a very impressive showing nonetheless. There's no Tyrannosaurus Rex this time around, which is a shame. But the other monsters are excellent. The new original creatures, the skull crawlers, take center stage, and although their design seems terribly impractical, they do look great in motion. Speaking of motion, I feel like there's a little bit too much slow motion. It's like this movie is trying to tap into 300's DNA, but it never comes off quite as impactful. I get they're just trying to look cool, but at its worst, it just seems kind of silly. There are some throwbacks to the classic King Kong, like the connection that Kong makes with the female lead, but this is no doubt an original take on the property, and one that is far more action-packed. Being set just at the tail end of the Vietnam War, with plenty of unused weapons and soldiers still hungry for battle, was a brilliant direction for this movie to take. And it works well as commentary on man attempting to deal with powers far beyond their control or understanding. Monster movie fans should get a real kick out of this, as should King Kong fans who want to see the franchise doing something completely different. The actors could have done a little better, but there is more good than bad here. This is a fun-filled monster mash and a refreshing take on a classic property. Thank you for watching my review on Kong, Skull Island. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe.